shed some light
Sure.
on the market, Indian market, as well as when we compare it to the world market?
Sure. So currently the Indian market is around at a whopping of around $250 billion.
So yeah, hi Ankit, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good, pretty great. And how are you?
I'm great, thanks. So myself Mohit, I'm with Startup Story. So today, we'll be discussing. Let me set the context of the session first. So we'll be talking about how automation is building the next frontier for logistic industry, right? And today we have Mr. Ankit Kaushik, who is CEO and co-founder of Pickrr. So before we start today's discussion, Ankit, I'm curious to know more about your journey. So, if you can shed some light over there, it will be great. So how it all started and, how you transitioned, or maybe how has the journey been so far for you?
Sure, Mohit. Thanks for having me here. So I'll start off with our journey, like all three of us, me, Gaurav, and Ritaman. So we started off with Pickrr in 2015. Back then, the e-commerce industry was not at the scale that it is right now, with the emergence of D2C brands, COVID happening, people starting ordering from home itself. So we started off with the primarily hyperlocal model, and then we scaled to intercity logistics as well. We partnered with all the logistic companies in India and built you can say, an analytics dashboard to enable D2C sellers and brands in helping them scaling up their logistics. So providing them transparency in terms of where the shipments are, in terms of tracking, in terms of financial reconciliations. So basically overall handling the logistics of any business. So Pickrr is kind of a necessity over there, and the modules that we provide. So I can brief you about them in the later part of the session.
So, now that you said that you have been in this industry since past couple of years, so I'm sure you might have a clear understanding or the market overview about this industry that is there. So you also mentioned that back when you started in 2015, it was not the scale was not that big of as compared to today, right? So if you can just shed some light
Sure.
on the market industry size and the market dynamics of Indian market, as well as when we compare it to the world market.
Sure. So currently the Indian market is around at a whopping of around $250 billion, the logistics industry itself in India. And within a span of around 3 years, it will be around reaching to around $400 billion. So there is a huge, you can say, opportunities as well as growth factors that are happening and innovations that are happening currently right now. Because like as you have been seeing, people are starting ordering from home itself. They want deliveries within hours, within days. Previously, the trend was used to be like 5 to 7 days was the usual norm, but now it has decreased to around 1 to 2 days, or even within, like, with the upcoming of some brands, like it has reduced to around 10 minutes also.
Correct.
So let's see how this shapes up. And this has been a pivot. Logistics overall has been a pivotal role in every country's actual economic development. So India is currently gaining up on that part.
Correct. So how mature is the market in India as compared to the, if we take the best players out there across world? So how mature is the market?
So still, the logistic industry overall has a lot of things that are needed to be done to compare Indian logistic market with that of US or China's. But since with the upcoming of many, you can say, automation tools, supply chain developments, this can be achieved within the next 3 years itself. So
Correct.
because this is a need of the hour,
Right.
and people as their buying behavior is also shifting. So there are companies who are working day in, day out to achieve that kind of automation and scale.
Right. So I'm sure there must be certain key driving factors for the logistic industries in India. So some part of it you mentioned that people are ordering a lot more on e-commerce. That is one aspect of it. So apart from that, what are the other key factors which are kind of playing a pivotal role in shaping the industry?
Okay, so basically technology obviously has a very pivotal role in this, with the building of big data analytics, AI, ML, and automation. So this will help us, not just us, but even brands, even traditional companies, people who are digital first businesses, in scaling up. Customer satisfaction and a quick shopping experience is also being developed, and brands are relying on that part to have the conversion scale up. So currently on an industry level, the cart abandonment right now is at around 70-75% in India. And conversions are also very low at around 2 to 3%, the overall e-commerce conversions. So with that, there is a lot to be done. And the government of India is also helping logistics in this current budget that had come out. So the Gati Shakti scheme will definitely help in the overall infrastructures of schemes, developing you can say the highways and the roadways, and setting up cargo terminals. So that is a huge step by the government of India, and we truly applaud that part.
So I'm sure there are certain initiatives which are being taken by government will also, help boost the industry size and the overall market for this industry as well. So now, as you mentioned that, a lot of technology is also playing a pivotal role in shaping this industry. So I'm sure there might be certain challenges which are pertaining to technology, then pertaining to logistic industry as overall. So what are the key challenges that you are facing today in terms of, in terms of logistic industry?
One of the major challenges that a brand or even companies like us face is how to reduce returns. So that is one of the key aspects where there is a lot of cost leakages. There is a lot of, you can say, shrinkages in terms of manufacturing. And even you can say the other problem is reducing how we can give a better delivery experience to the end consignees and buyers. So the consumer demand is shifting towards 24 to 48 hours delivery. So how we can develop a network all across India that can enable this kind of a faster delivery of, you can say, not for all products, but even for perishables, even for food items, FMCGs, which are, you can say, high velocity SKUs. So if that network can be developed, so that is one of the challenges that Pickrr is also trying to solve. And in terms of, you can say, the impulse buying habit of customers, so that is actually leading to higher returns. So there are different pieces and there are different technologies and aspects that Pickrr is also trying to develop to plug in these challenges.
Correct. So I'm sure there must be certain aspect where, credibility is also a key role why, people are refraining from buying online, or credibility in both in terms of the platform from which they are buying and the logistic, because if they cannot track or trace their product or services. So I'm sure there might be certain steps that you might have taken in order to build the credibility for the brand in terms of logistic space. So if you can shed some light over it.
Yeah, so definitely, in terms of, you can say, building a brand trust, we kind of act as logistic consultant to the brands that are working with us. So on a day in, day out basis, we tell them how they can simplify their reverse logistics and returns. So customer returns and the ease of returning any product that they have bought online is kind of a pivotal in developing this trust factor. If the returns are very, you can say, a complex and complicated process, then it kind of creates a doubt in the minds of the buyers, and the repeat purchases actually decrease. So to increase repeat purchases and to kind of build a trust and brand value, easy returns is the kind of a key for them.
Correct. And I'm sure
Customer testimonials and, you can say, first-hand reviews from genuine customers actually inculcates this trust in the end buyers.
so, COVID had sent a shockwave across the economies in India as well as across the world. Now, I'm sure there was a huge impact on the logistics aspect as well. So if you can shed some light over there, like basically, I'm sure the logistics people were buying more online, right? So I'm sure there must be certain load increase. So how you dealt with that, and how it came across.
Yep. So COVID the first wave of COVID actually brought some sort of disruption in the industry, in the logistics part. So with the first lockdown, only essentials were allowed, and slowly relaxations were being done. There were dynamic lockdowns during that part of the year. So with Pickrr, the brands working with had a simplicity in kind of visibility where their demand is actually open at that point of time. But as the COVID wave actually settled down, so we actually saw a huge increase in e-commerce brands, traditional businesses setting up their online shops and changing their kind of mindset in being digital first. So that was the kind of shift that we saw in the nature of sellers. Other than that, because the e-commerce delivery was prevalent and people were buying from these online stores. So the delivery times were critical in those in that period of time. People wouldn't wait for 4 to 5 days for essentials to arrive. So then we had to actually implement a 1 day or 2 day delivery so that at least the consumer demands are met and there are not many returns in that period of time. And similarly, like the warehousing industry also developed during that part. So there were good changes that ultimately should have been like that would have taken place at a pace of 2 to 3 years down the line, but that were done within a span of 1 year itself. So we also like during the wave of COVID, like since everybody was working from home, so we brainstormed on technology and product and how we can kind of develop a seamless experience to end consumers and sellers. So that was a theme of that work from home period in COVID.
Correct. Correct. So, I wonder now, what is the solution that Pickrr is offering, and what is the role of automation in this, basically?
Sure. So Pickrr basically acts as an end-to-end, you can say, technology SaaS company for B2B retailers and D2C brands. So we have a number of products that can help any brand in scaling up in terms of logistics, in terms of product discovery, in terms of checkout. So there are three different kinds of product that currently are in focus. Like one is Pickrr Select, which is automatic allocation of different logistic players all across India on particular orders. So this is kind of dependent upon around 13 to 14 different factors that the algorithm actually takes into account. Then there is Pickrr Connect, which acts as a, you can say, transparency layer between the seller and the buyers with, you can say, seamless connections and seamless messaging and notifications to the end buyers where the consignments are. It basically helps in tracking their consignments through either WhatsApp, email, or SMS. And in case of any delayed delivery, these all notifications are sent again. So, and the other one is Pickrr Predict, which helps actually sellers in kind of getting to know the customer profile, what type of customers are actually buying from their websites, which type of customers, which profile of customers actually have a high tendency of rejecting the products. So that at least the sellers know that these are the high risk customers which they have to actually work upon. And there is a product which actually enables in repeat purchases for these sellers. So these are the kind of technology and the kind of, you can say, ancillary products that Pickrr has been developing. And in terms of, you can say, fulfillment and warehousing, Pickrr Fulfillment actually brings the demand and the supply together and enables brands to actually reach their customers faster. So currently we have a network of around 20 warehouses all across India. And so we are working with big players and regional players as well in achieving that demand. So this warehousing is actually also very customized. Like any brand with any kind of, you can say, customized solution can approach Pickrr and we can provide them the full stack warehousing and outward dispatch and fulfillment.
So what I like the most about the product is, the seller gets a whole dashboard in front of their eyes. Like basically they can monitor, okay, this is the inventory that I need to, and it kind of gives, they can predict the demand as well, I believe, right? So that's
Yeah.
quite interesting. But
exactly. So with warehousing, we also provide smart inventory management through which sellers know what kind of demand is being expected and how they should restock their high velocity SKUs in different warehouses that are with Pickrr. So this gives a overall visibility to the sellers and their manufacturers in developing those products in a timely manner. So we provide notifications in terms of stock refilling, in terms of inventory management, in terms of flow of packages, and different in number of different.
Correct, right. So that's quite interesting. Now, what are the key benefits of automating the supply chain?
Sure. So there are a lot of benefits in terms of it helps in decreasing the operating cost for businesses in terms of lower labor costs, in terms of lower overhead and warehousing cost. Plus, in terms of manufacturing, automation actually plays a very crucial role in increasing the productivity of the supply chain. So any brand can achieve at least 20 to 30% increment in the productivity by implementing these different kind of automations in supply chain. Plus, they will see an increase in volume and increase in accuracy, decrease in the supply cost. So that is very important with automation. Unless and until you are not relying on these technologies, your business won't be scalable to an extent. You can definitely, like initial level sellers, people who are starting their businesses won't be needing this technology at day zero, but from X to 1X, from X to 10X, they won't be needing, but 10X to 100X, they will require these kind of automations. And definitely like compliance issues and with large suppliers, these automation actually help them in monitoring the overall flow of inventory plus logistics.
Correct, correct. That's great. So, now I wonder, like, market has evolved a lot in past couple of years. Now, what is the case with logistic industry? How it has evolved? Like, I'm sure you might have seen drastic changes in the market. So how the industry or the market has evolved, if you can.
Market has
Yeah.
evolved in terms of 2 to 3 different factors. So firstly, with the emergence of D2C brands, people are thinking about how they can woo the consumers with their product qualities, with their, you can say, even with customized packaging in terms of customer expectations. What is the exact need of the hour? So people are kind of brainstorming on that part and developing products for the end consumers. Previously, it was not that. There were a few brands who were developing these kind of products, but nowadays, due to the emergence, due to the easiness of doing business, due to companies like you can say Pickrr, like everybody can has access to that kind of technology easily. They can sign up, they can start their account, they can start shipping. Plus, with the emergence of you can say companies like Shopify, Magento, so building a store is also very easy. You don't need to be a coder or anybody to actually start doing those kind of stuff. You can like just create an account and start with your online shop and integrate different plugins and get going. So market is evolving, along with that technology is also evolving. And even now, as I told, like even the government of India is also focusing on this sector, the logistics sector overall. So this will help in decreasing the overall cost to the end buyers as well as the sellers.
Yeah, so now, the one thing that is beautiful about this whole shifting to online part is now you can reach out to the customers pan India, right? Basically, I don't even have to have a physical shop in order to reach to, let's say for people across India, right? So that's the beauty of, I believe, the whole shift from physical to online thing, right? So now, where do you position yourself in the next 3 years as a brand, as a firm, right? So you might have certain goals in mind, like what are the KPIs that you track day in and day out for Pickrr to grow?
Sure. So basically, in the coming 3 years, we want to be the leading company in tech logistics in India, and we want to develop a strong seller base and a consumer base. And along with that, since we have this amount of huge data, we want to develop technologies to enable faster deliveries on those lines. So not just deliveries, but enabling sellers and you can say D2C brands and simplifying their overall supply chain workflow. And this has been so even for the past 3 years, Pickrr has been growing 3x, and this is the vision that we will enable Pickrr to grow in the coming 3 years.
Correct. That's quite an interesting figure, and I'm sure the growth will prevail, and because of certain factors like the evolution of market and government also playing a pivotal role or a crucial role in the industry. So yeah, so I believe that's about it from my end for today. It was a lovely discussion with you, Ankit, and I personally got to know a lot of insights about the logistic industry and how it functions, and indeed how Pickrr is creating a difference out there.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Mohit, for inviting me to this chat. And it was lovely having this discussion with you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.